Look, I don't know about y'all, but for me, this right here is the biggest game, one of two, of the Ravens season. Ravens Steelers week is nothing like it. And now that both teams are back at the top of the division, oh my goodness, it's about to be good. We know last time, one possession game, 2-point conversion attempt, silly play call. We know it all. But I gotta be honest with y'all. This is one I think the Ravens have to win. They have to win this game because if they don't, it's going to be trouble in paradise. All right, y'all, what is going on, my good people? We back once again. It's the Be More Show. I'm your host, DJ, and I'm back again. Look, we talking Ravens Steelers this week, and what a week. What a week, right? To be back talking Ravens football. Hopefully, y'all tuning in after Yolanda B and Hindo's stream after they wrap up over there. But shout out to them because I know they was live a little bit before I went live. But I will say, man, Ravens, Steelers, week 16, big game. One of those games where it's like, you know that it could go either way. And it's funny, man. Like, it's crazy how fast this season is went. And sometimes I think things kind of go over your head. Like I forgot all about the fact that the Steelers didn't even score a touchdown the last time they played the Ravens in this game. And I think there was two missed field goals. I know there was I think there was two fumbles too at least, and I think there was an interception. I think if I'm not mistaken, I know Derrick Henry fumbled like first possession of the game, and honestly, I think that changed the momentum. That changed how the Ravens called the game for the rest of that time. And it's just crazy, man. Like when you think about Ravens Steelers, it's always the same game, ain't it? Like it's literally always the same game. It's always gritty, nasty, close. Like it's rare that you're gonna get a Ravens Steelers game that's gonna be a blowout. It's rare, and especially when the two teams are good. Typically, if you're gonna get any sort of multiple score game, it's gonna simply be because one team isn't and the other team is probably like surging or something, and the law of divisions, I guess, or at least the law of the AFC North. If a bad if a bad team comes into a good team's building, you end up you end up the good team usually ends up losing. But it's crazy, man. Going into this game, I want to jump into the injury report because the Ravens look like they're going to be without some interesting people, and it honestly makes you think. It makes you think, what does this mean? Because there's a couple of guys on this injury report that are questionable, which to me, I don't even know why they put questionable on the injury report. I feel like questionable is practically out. They just playing with our emotions at this point. But I mean, I'm sure it'll be a couple that it's kind of a change, but it's very interesting, man. When we look at it, I'm gonna pull this up for y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about, and so we can go through this thing together because it's very, very interesting to see this injury report. It's very interesting to look at. So, um, one of the guys that comes to mind first and foremost is, let me see, is that still? I think that still works. All right, so you got Nelson Aguilar. So one of your top wide receivers, one of your main guys on the outside, which he hasn't. I don't feel like he's played as much lately. Ironically enough, right? It honestly feels like when Deontay Johnson. Okay, I don't even know how to say this. When Deontay Johnson just has been in the doghouse, I guess. Like I don't know. Whatever the situation is with Deontay Johnson and him not seeing the field, it's honestly felt like we've seen less of Nelson Aguilar too, which is odd because I would have thought that Deontay Johnson would have kind of been the guy to kind of take the place of Nelson Aguilar, but it's been kind of the opposite. Deontay Johnson has been out the last couple of weeks because of personal reasons and because of uh just pure logic, I guess, because I have no earthly idea why this man is out. But Deontay Johnson's been out the past couple of weeks, and it's been very interesting, right? Because Nelson Aguilar hasn't played as much and he's got a concussion. So you got him. He's questionable. Honestly, he's probably, if he didn't practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because of a concussion, I just don't see him passing protocol. To be honest with you, I don't see that happening. Jalen Armour-Davis is out. Okay. Rashad Bateman in a brain just felt like it came out of the blue with a foot injury is questionable. Faalele being questionable. Hey, I'm all for a good blessing in disguise. Okay. look, I don't want anybody to be hurt. Okay. I just want somebody else to get an opportunity. All right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now it'd be interesting to see what they do. I'm about to look at the depth chart because I'm honestly curious because of course they've been moving Macari all over the darn place too. I'm curious to see who they play in that spot where Faalele is, because that's interesting. That's very, very interesting to see that. What's up? 86 Ghost? Welcome back, man. I appreciate you for coming by and hanging out. Like, look, man, Faalele is might be a blessing in disguise for real. Let's look real quick. I'm gonna look this up real quick for y'all because I want to know too. So I feel like who would be behind Faalele? I know who it is, but my brain is not. Ben Cleveland. Oh, that's right. I forgot about Big Country Ben Cleveland. Okay, so Ben Cleveland might possibly get the start. Which honestly, look, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. You know what y'all need to do? Just let Faalele rest. Let him rest. Let him rest. Let's see what Ben Cleveland can do. It can't get no worse. Okay, it literally can't. All right. Justice Hill, nothing, everything good with him. I'm gonna skip down to the next out person we have, which is Deontay Johnson. Like I said, the biggest question mark I've ever seen. I mean, the trade is a question mark now. Like, why you brought him in is a question mark. What the heck's going on is a question mark. Honestly, it makes me feel like I don't know if John Harbaugh has as much control over this team as it seems like, because what in the world is going on here? This needs to be a conversation about a guy who's really talented and getting him back on the field. I hate to say it. But anyway, regardless. And then you got Odafe Owe is questionable, which I think will be interesting. Honestly, I would not be surprised if Owe plays because he was just limited. It's not as if he didn't practice. So when I look back at this, I mean, even Faalele was just limited. So it makes you wonder, but it's a knee injury though. And a knee injury to an offensive lineman, like, I feel like it's almost detrimental. I mean, I'm going to be honest, when I look at this at first glance, I feel like Faalele just needs to sit. I mean, for a variety of reasons, but he needs to sit just to rest up the knee. If it's a knee injury and you're limited, just sit. Just sit. Bateman was limited Wednesday and didn't practice Thursday, which makes me wonder about him. I think Aguilar's out. I don't know why they got questionable here. They need to stop lying. I think Aguilar's out. And I think Owe will play. Honestly, I think this will be better than it looks. I was looking. I mean, they haven't. I mean, I think this was the last updated thing that they've done. Was this, and it's only listing 2 players out right now, which is JAD and Deontay Johnson. So, I mean, looking at the injury report, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about what it looks like right now. Like, I think there's some opportunity for some guys that probably need some opportunity, especially when you think about Faalele. Let's see if the Steelers got let's see if they got an injury report out here. Especially if you're looking at like Faalele, there could be some opportunity there. I don't think they got an injury report. Oh Lord. I shouldn't even came over here. There's bad memories on this page, especially Ravens week. All right. There's bad memories on this page. I don't see an injury report for them. And I don't want to be on this page no longer than I have to. Look, y'all. I think it's going to be interesting because I think Pickens is out, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I've been hearing. Pickens is out. I think TJ Watt is in, right? So, defense as usual, offense a little weakened. We'll see, we'll see what they can do. And I feel like, honestly, was this the turning point game for the Ravens defense? Was against the Steelers? I think it was. I think it was that 16-18 matchup. Let me look. Yeah, this was the turning point of the season for the Ravens defense, I feel like. I mean, they played a good game against the Broncos. And of course they played well against the Bills, but other than that, they were sporadic throughout the entire time. So I think That's the one good thing we can take out of it, is this was kind of the turning point game for the Ravens defense. And if they can keep that, they got to keep that up. They have to keep that up. They have to keep that up. I think it's gonna be very interesting, man. I think it's gonna be very interesting. But I'm gonna keep going with what I did last week. We're gonna do this big nickel breakdown of this game. We're gonna give you 5 things, either on one end of the Ravens, what the Ravens have to do, or what the Ravens have to avoid to win this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So 3 positives, 2 negatives, 3 things to do, 2 things to avoid. So drop yours down below if you want to. You want to play along, feel free to drop yours down below. But let's get into what the Ravens have to do. I think first things first, kind of remembering who you are, right? Remembering that what your identity is. The Steelers, for whatever reason, are one of those teams that are in they're in the head of the Ravens, right? They're the I think it's 2 teams in this league that have the Ravens by a stranglehold. And it's the Kansas City Chiefs and it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it don't matter how good the Steelers are. And honestly, sometimes it don't even matter how good the Chiefs are. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know if the Ravens are kind of trying to keep up with the Joneses, so they change some things up. I don't know if the Ravens, I think a little bit of it is probably the Ravens being outcoached, going against 2 other very good coaches. But these 2 AFC matchups for the Ravens have not been good. And I feel like anytime the Ravens play the Steelers and anytime the Ravens play the Chiefs, they get away from their identity. They get away from being this run first team that they are. They get away from not trying to do too much, if that makes sense. Right. I think that's a big thing. I think that's a big thing that's hindering the Ravens, especially in big games against the Steelers and against the Chiefs. But specifically, since we're talking about the Steelers, against the Steelers, Derrick Henry fumbles first possession of the game, and it felt like his carries were limited for the rest of the game. I know that they were stopping him at the line, but everybody said this, everybody understands this, everybody knows this. People outside of Ravens feel like understand this. You give Derrick Henry the ball, he gonna break one. We know this. It don't matter if he fumble. It don't matter. It's not like he fumbles that often anyway. It don't matter if he fumble or anything. He's gonna get it back. And as a competitor, when Derrick Henry fumbles, he wants to get it back. So don't forget who you are. Don't forget that you are one of the best rushing teams of the decade. Don't forget that, right? Probably in NFL history, over the past, decade too. But don't forget who you are. Don't forget, to take the easy things too. It ain't always got to be shots down the field. It ain't always got to be the difficult stuff, because Pittsburgh has a complicated defense to play against. Make things easy. If I'm Todd Monken, I'm making things easy for everybody. I'm getting the ball after Derrick Henry, maybe in space, maybe on some passing plays. I want to see a little bit more of Keaton Mitchell. I don't know where he's been lately, but I want to see a little bit more of him. Utilize that speed, utilize some things that show hey, this team is dynamic, and when you play against the Steelers, I think especially against good teams, spreading them out is the best thing you can do, right? Especially good defenses. Spreading them out is what is the best thing you can do. If you feel like you have good weapons, use them all. And I feel like Todd Monken's good at that, but I think Todd Monken can't get in his own way either when it comes down to it. But number 2 of what the Ravens have to do to win this game, they got to protect Lamar, and honestly protect Derrick Henry too. I think that's been some of the biggest issues with the Ravens against the Steelers. Is we talked about it before, turnovers, right? But a lot of the turnovers have been due to protection too, because this front 7 is so good for Pittsburgh, right? They're so good at getting after you, and they get after you with 4, and it don't even really matter. So because of that, as a Ravens fan, you gotta hope that this offensive line can hold up and protect Lamar. Give him time. And, once again, that goes back to coaching again. Give him more options that are quicker options, that are faster options, that are, kind of like we've talked about before, utilizing his legs. That touchdown to Tez Walker, you're utilizing the threat of his legs and running somebody behind it, because people are going to come down on Lamar. Simply put, people are going to come at Lamar for the simple fact of they know how big of a threat he can be in the running game if you give him any space. And, it gives you kind of like we said, it gives you two options. You got the option to run, but you also got the option to pass. And sometimes it's purely a decoy. And I think the Ravens can't be afraid to use the things that are honestly easy money. They got to use those easy money things that they see. Number three, this is a prove it game for the Ravens. I said this in the first one. I said this in the first one, and I believe it. Even going through this game, honestly, I felt like the Ravens need to win dominant against the Steelers because they just haven't been able to really dominate the Steelers. It's been a while since they've been able to, kind of impose their will against the Steelers. But sometimes I think too, when I say a dominant win, I just need you to feel in control. It ain't got to necessarily be 2 scores, but feel like you're there, you belong there, and you definitively win, right? And I think the Ravens got to prove to themselves because, somebody had said it on, had said it on Twitter. I wish I still had it up, but, it was mentioned that the Ravens don't have, a Lamar Jackson problem when it comes to the Steelers. They have a Ravens problem, right? The Ravens are a bigger problem than even Lamar Jackson is because the Steelers have been, kind of having the Ravens number for a long, long time now. And, even, Lamar or not, right? It's been like that. I mean, I know there's been a couple games where, Lamar hasn't played because the Ravens have had, the number 1 seed or whatever it may be locked up. But even still, it's not like the Ravens weren't in those games and could have easily, won those games. So I think this is a proving game for the Ravens. I put in the title, it's a must win for the Ravens because this is how you stay in the division race. You're one game behind, and probably, you probably could even say like maybe like 1.5 games behind because, they still got the tiebreaker. So, you gotta, you gotta win this game and then you gotta hope for them to lose too. Y'all can't be tied at the end of the season because they're gonna end up with a better divisional record if you are, especially if y'all both, if the Ravens win here and then the Steelers, went out after that. So it'll definitely be interesting. So the two things that the Ravens cannot do, they can't allow these big third down conversions that the Steelers are known for. I mean, third and fourth down, really, it goes for both, but definitely getting off the field on third down. Because I feel like the Steelers, honestly, man, I feel like the Steelers, especially when it comes to playing the Ravens, they just extend drives. They find ways to get, by hook or by crook, get a first down. And the Ravens can't allow that. They can't allow that in this game. They simply can't. They simply can't allow that. Number two, kind of hand in hand with what I said earlier about protecting Lamar, protecting Derrick Henry, you cannot turn the ball over against this team. I tell you what, the Steelers, I think a lot of people still, I think the jury is still out, especially, I think it's a little biased from Ravens fans, but the jury's still out on how good the Steelers really are. But it's one of those things where like the Steelers are really good at capitalizing on turnovers, I feel like. And I don't have any stats to back that up. That's just, from an eye test from what I've seen, especially against the Ravens, they're good at capitalizing on turnovers. Now they didn't score a touchdown in the last matchup. But I mean, if you give them the ball enough times in short field, it's there for them to take. So I mean, I think this defense got to continue to do what they have been doing, and what that turnaround represented earlier in the season. But I think at the same time, I honestly think that the Ravens have to protect the ball, and that's probably the biggest one out of all of them is protecting the ball. Even if the offensive line isn't playing well, protect the ball. Even if guys aren't open, protect the ball. Even if you got to take off and run, protect the ball. Even if you hand it to Derrick Henry, protect the ball. And I think kind of even an honorable mention could be like, don't get behind the sticks on penalties. The Ravens they gotta be the worst penalized team. And if they are the worst penalized team, the issue with that is, you're always behind the sticks, and the Ravens are not good from behind the sticks. But I think, honestly, prediction wise, thoughts wise, I feel like the Ravens will win this game. I think they're going to win this game because it's a must win game. And, the thing about the Ravens is when their back is against the wall, they find find a way to win. And I think by hook or by crook, they'll win. I would love to see them dominate in this game. And when I say dominate, it ain't got to necessarily, it can kind of even go score for score. It can kind of even be the typical Ravens Steelers gritty game. But go in there, play a clean game, do what you got to do, and that's how it's got to be. You're at home this time. Ravens flock want to see this team finally get over the hump against this team. And if you can, it's one of those situations, man, because I know the Chiefs have had the Ravens number for the last couple years, but it's like if you can get over the hump against the Steelers, a team that probably know you 10 times better than the Chiefs do, then it makes you feel better about getting over the hump against the Chiefs as well. So it's definitely gonna be good. I want to mention something real quick. I just want to mention this because it's been a topic of conversation, especially over this past week. And especially over the past couple weeks about who is the MVP. I'm curious about the MVP odds, just what they say. I know they had Josh Allen ahead in the MVP odds, but it was also very interesting, how that works. Yeah, they got him ahead right now of the MVP odds, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting to see to see how they stack up a little bit, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be real with y'all right now. I'm gonna be 100 and up front with y'all right now. This MVP race is over, y'all. Like for me, right? I think this MVP race is over. Like if these two guys play the same way that they played throughout the entirety of the season, in these last 3 games for them each respectively, this MVP race is over. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. I don't know why they're trying their best to act like Josh Allen even deserves it. He doesn't. He deserved the 1 vote he got last year. So I think honestly, if Josh Allen wins the MVP, it's going to simply be because they need to gift him an MVP, because by that logic, he's not going to win one. If Lamar keeps winning them all, how would Josh Allen, how would he ever win one, guys? Come on. Like we gotta give him, throw him a bone at some point. But I do want to look at this real quick, because it's very interesting. Because I just want to, I'll pull this up for y'all so y'all can see it too. It's crazy to see Sam Darnold in the MVP odds. That's wild. Like, who would have had that on the bingo card, y'all? Like who would have had that on the bingo card, man? But let's look at this real quick. I want y'all to see this real quick, to see these odds. Oh, y'all can't see that because I can't see that. Look, I'm gonna go this one so y'all can see, and then I'll make it a little bigger. I'll get out of here. So Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon, Jared Goff, Baker, which is another interesting one. I feel like Baker is another interesting one. Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, and then you go down to Patrick Mahomes and TJ Watt. I don't know how long this list goes, but TJ Hawkinson all the way down here. But anyway, so your top 3 right now. So I mean, Sam Darnold's in the top 6, which is crazy, y'all. That's wild to me. Sam Darnold in the top 6 of the MVP conversation. That's wild. You talk about like a comeback too, like for a guy who people had wrote off and this, that, and the third. And who's to say, that he is the guy that he's played as this year? But still, to come out and be in that conversation, that's big for him. But instantly enough, Josh Allen is above Lamar Jackson in the MVP race. And it's very, very interesting to me, right? It's very, very interesting to me. Because the Buffalo Bills are currently sitting at 12-3, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna look it up real quick so I can be honest with y'all. But the Buffalo Bills are sitting at 11-3, not 12-3. I'm giving them one extra win there. 11-3. The Ravens are sitting at 9-5, right? So honestly, not too far away from each other. Now you could say Buffalo is leading the division, so we may give a little bit of an edge in terms of that, right? We might give a little bit of an edge in terms of that. Okay, cool, right? Cool. No worries, no big deal. you know what, I can honestly, I can understand from a records perspective if you want to go that direction. Now, when the Ravens played Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills head to head, the Ravens torched them. But we're not gonna have that conversation, okay? We're not gonna talk about that. We just gonna mention that, and I'm gonna leave it alone. But it was what I mean. We just saw it on we just I just mentioned it to y'all when we saw about the Ravens defensive turnaround, 35-10, right? It was a big game. It was kind of supposed to be one of those AFC Championship type preview type games, and the Ravens came in and they washed the floor with them. And honestly, like I thought it was going to be for the Bills to respond, huge, right? Okay, so cool. I think that's fine, right? I think that's completely fine. What I'm looking at, but Josh Allen. So Joe Burrow, the current passing leader, at least in yards, is not even in the top three, which I think team record does matter, right? But I mean, arguably, you could say Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen pretty close in record. But all right, but I get it. As of right now, I can understand where you're coming from. All right, but then we go and we look at the numbers. All right, I'm gonna pull these up because I want y'all to see them too. I want y'all to follow along with me. I want y'all to really be here in this conversation with me. All right. So, and I hope y'all can see this. I might have to zoom in a little bit because we don't need all the sack numbers and stuff. But anyway, let me pull this up for y'all. So, of course, Joe Burrow, leading passer in terms of yards, which is not the technical like would not be the passing winner. The passing winner would still be would be Joe Burrow right now. Lamar's two touchdowns behind him. But very interesting, right? So Lamar Jackson at 5, Josh Allen at 9. When it comes to yards, when it comes to completion percentage, let's just look. So Lamar's got him beat in completion percentage. They've actually completed about the same amount of exactly the same amount of passes. So that's an interesting one. Of course, played the same amount of games because the bye weeks are all done. Touchdown wise, let's talk about that real quick. So interception wise, I hope it don't go most interceptions. It did. All right. So interception wise, and I hate when they do it like this. Anywho, look, let's just go back to the previous numbers we had. Let's just do touchdowns first. So touchdown wise, like I said before, 34 touchdowns for Lamar Jackson, 25 touchdowns for Josh Allen. Now, I'm gonna have to look at the rushing stats because I don't have that off the top of my head. But Lamar Jackson is ahead in that as well, right? By a pretty decent mark. Like, I mean, we talking that's 9 TDs, right? That's 9 TDs. If Lamar, which I hope he does, but if Lamar comes out and goes Jackson 5 on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which would be nice. Hey, wishful thinking here, but would be nice. That would be nice. Now, I mean, interception wise, honestly, I think they're pretty comparable. You talk about Josh Allen with 5 and Lamar Jackson with 3. So I mean, honestly, and that's been one of the bigger surprises for Josh Allen this year, has been the lack of turnovers. I feel like he has not been turning the ball over nearly as much. Let's look in the rushing real quick. I know it's about to bring up Saquon and all them. Let me see. All right, so Lamar Jackson at 743. I'm trying to think what category is this. All right, so this one is TDs. Let me go down here one more time for y'all. All right, so he got three rushing TDs. I think Josh Allen has either 5 or 8. Oh yeah, he got 7. So Josh Allen got 7. So he's leading in TDs. Now I will, a caveat to this, right? Because context does matter. When Josh Allen gets to the goal line, they go QB sneak, QB draw type situation. When Lamar gets in the red zone, typically the Ravens hand off to Derrick Henry or Justice Hill. So there is that. So let's look at the context in that. Oh, I'm tripping. I'm looking at Kenneth Walker. He got 11 touchdowns. Which, like I said, I think he has more opportunities to get rushing touchdowns than Lamar does. At 484. Do they show fumbles on here? They don't. What's the FD? First down, so okay. But I mean, just very interesting, right? Just I think it's a close race to a certain degree, but at the same time, I don't like. I feel like Lamar has shown time and time again. I mean, even Lamar's bad game. So you can say the Steelers game where he had 1 touchdown and 1 interception and maybe a fumble loss, if I'm thinking about it right. Like, even still, his team is right there in the game. Whereas, if we want to compare once again, when they play head to head, Josh Allen didn't play well. He just didn't. So I think Lamar is the MVP. Now, would I trade in regular season MVP for Super Bowl MVP? Hey, I'll take them all. I'll be honest with y'all. I will take Lamar Jackson winning MVP again, right? The Ravens stomping through the playoff competition, and Lamar Jackson winning Super Bowl MVP. I mean, I guess honestly, I don't even care if we win Super Bowl MVP, to be honest with you. I would just be happy to win the Super Bowl, right? That's just me, though. That's just me. Okay, but look, y'all. This Steelers game is going to be big. I'm excited, right? I'm excited. Every time Steelers week comes around, the excitement just gets brewing, okay? The excitement gets going. I get excited, okay? I know y'all get excited. It's going to be fun. Let me know below what y'all think. What do y'all think the Ravens are going to do against the Steelers? Give me one thing that the Ravens got to do and one thing the Ravens got to avoid down below. Let me know. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I want y'all to remember that the Be More Show is on all major podcasting platforms, so be sure to check the Be More Show out over there as well if you want to take the show on the road with you. I know. Look, the holidays is coming. I got the sweater on. Okay, I understand. Y'all got some long trips coming up. Some of y'all take trips for y'all's Christmas gifts. I get it. Okay, so you can put the Be More Show on along with. I'm sure all of our other Ravens content creators are out there too. So you can make you just a Ravens marathon all the way down the road. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time on the Be More Show.